Why are we interested in the blockchain? We think that it very much can help in trust and also in systems where you can have a more distributed system, a decentralized system, for instance, between the 28 member states and the European institutions for multi-level governance, also with the regions. New opportunities for Europe to be able to seize at this time. We want to reinforce the blockchain ecosystem where necessary, look at the legislative framework, either update it or perhaps under the next college, look if there are any specific matters of legislation that need to be attended to. This would not be a regulation on blockchain, but for instance on things like smart contracts and on utility tokens. Implementation and enforceability of law and rules, the General Data Protection Regulation, network information security, various rules and laws related to infrastructure in various sectors, and also we want to act as a trailblazer in this role for public organizations and the private sector. Or no, that way, there it is. Okay, that went too far. There you go. So we started with the FinTech Action Plan. There you have actions on the digital single market side that were on the FinTech Lab, which is bringing regulators together with technology providers to explain to them in a non-commercial atmosphere what is interesting and what might be problematic on technologies like the cloud, robo-advice, and blockchain will be one of the next ones. Also standardization, bringing together the digital standardization world together with the world that does regulatory standardization. And finally, the blockchain initiative. It started at Digital Day 2, where we had a declaration that was signed by, I'm turning around in various ways, initially 21 member states. Now it's 26 member states in Norway, so 27 European countries right now. It's going to build together, in fact we have a meeting with the member states tomorrow, a European blockchain services infrastructure. We have identified the use cases which are in the reg tech and in the notification and certification areas with colleagues from DG TaxHood, from the Court of Auditors, with the member states bottom up. And already in the Connecting Europe facility next year, we would be able to start launching this. The idea would be to shape the market in this way, making sure that the technology, utilizing the tool of procurement, innovation procurement, meets our needs in terms of regulatory compliance, as well as speed, scalability, energy efficiency, etc. We're not carried away about the hype. We don't think blockchain fits everything. We don't think that what's on the market fits all the needs that we have right now as a public sector organization, which is why we're giving this push. And also the proof of concepts that have been completed show that for sharing registers, there can be savings of 30 to 80% for the member states and the European Union level by publishing something on a node once and having it available to all the other nodes, as opposed to publishing it and sending it again and again. Okay, now I'm the other way. And then we set up the European Blockchain Observatory and Forum, and this is an important tool for us. It gives us advice and various information and analysis. Yesterday, they published the GDPR and blockchain report, which benefited from the inputs from many colleagues from DG Just and I think EDPS, but definitely DG Just, and hopefully it'll be something that'll be very useful for the community. Again, the idea is to shape the European public sector blockchain for it to be, and I mean, it's a foregone conclusion, it has to be completely legally compliant with European rules, but in this way also to shape the global market a little bit as a rule maker, not a rule taker, that we can have a blockchain that helps in giving the individual autonomy and control over his or her data rather than letting it get out of their control. So this Blockchain Observatory and Forum, you can also see in a mapping there all the initiatives that are going on in Europe. There's a community and there's regular workshops. There's one coming up on the 7th of November here in Brussels on e-identity and blockchain. So if you want to register, you can. Okay, the report on GDPR and blockchain, and this literally came out yesterday. I mean, I'd seen myself and commented on earlier drafts, so this I will read a little bit because the newest draft is just in my hands as well, or the final draft. Identification and obligations of data controllers and processors, degree of anonymization of personal data, the exercise of some data subject rights, guidance for entrepreneurs and innovators, and R&D efforts ongoing by the community. So even if, let's say, the public key, the hash, hash is classified as personal data and someone does ask for it to be removed, whether tools like zero-knowledge proof, salting, other technological tools could meet that. And then we look forward to very much more engagement with the data protection authorities regularly, with the board, which is now set up since the GDPR came into force, and also with the community that is developing the future blockchains. And other actions, standardization, interoperability. We're participating in ISA Technical Committee 307, ITU, as well as in Europe, Senelec, the white paper on blockchain. So also trying to push to have this shaping of the technology globally in line with these same parameters as much as we can. And it looks like we're having a bit of influence now, of course, with all the member states, with the blockchain community. Funding research and innovation actions. We have a number of calls coming up. The aforementioned scalability, time stamping, getting the technology up from blockchain 1.0, which you could say was Bitcoin. It's perhaps at 2.0 now, but getting to the blockchain third generation, which would meet the needs of the industry, public sector, and would be compliant with all laws. Moving from proof of concept or pilots to implementation. This is something that we're going to do ourselves with this blockchain services infrastructure. Okay. There it is. And thank you very much for your attention, and I'll happily answer any questions either now or later that you may have on this subject or others.